Hello, welcome everyone. So in today's video I am going to show you a short game in both senses. So it was only 11 moves and it was also a blitz game. So in any case it wouldn't be such a long game. So but the point is that this happened also on quite a few times in games between lower rated players, but okay, this one that the Grandmaster against the International Master is still pretty special, even though only in Blitz. So let's see. So the game started with one knight f3, d5, d4, knight f6, c4. So now we transpose to our repertoire and black played c6, so the Slav defense. So we recommend knight bd2 in the course, and black played one of the natural moves of the Slav, in the force move normally. The advantage of the Slav over the, so to say, advantage over the Queen's Gambit decline, that it keeps the bishop's diagonal open. So both bishop f5 and bishop g4 are very common choices in this position, but not necessarily the best moves. So bishop g4 was played in this game, I believe, already pretty dubious or bad. The problem is that simply this knight is not pinned, and when the knight is not pinned, so there is a pawn on e2 and the knight can jump to the center and it's protected and attacking the bishop, then I simply don't really see the point of bishop g4. So we go knight e5. Of course, now the bishop has to move. We have ideas like, for example, in case of e6, we have this is a typical idea that we take and play e4, highlighting this awkward situation of the knight. So black played knight f5, bishop f5, and now a very strong move, and this is a very strong sequence, or you may call it opening trick, that we play cd5. It's very important that we open this diagonal for the king. C takes d5, and now basically the move which secures a huge advantage for white was played here by Svane. e4. Extremely strong move, so that's why we open the diagonal. Bishop is coming with a check to b5. Also the queen can come, and basically whatever black is playing here, he is in huge trouble. I mean, just to illustrate that how big of a trouble he is, the best move is to play probably bishop c8. After ed5 is still not exactly clear how black will finish development. Knight d5 is pretty risky. We can follow it up with queen f3, bishop c4, or queen b3, bishop c4, bishop b5. I mean, so many good moves there. Besides that, nobody is going to play bishop c8 here. So yeah, the game was d4. So let's see what happens if black takes with the piece. So knight takes on e4, knight e4. So now if the pawn takes, then the queen is coming to b3. So that's typical. When the pawn disappears from d5, then the queen is hitting f7 and also b7 at the same time. Black plays bishop e6. We take on b7, knight d7. And yeah, this is a nice sequence. This knight to c6, queen c8, and bishop a6. So basically attacking the queen, and once we trade, then the rook is trapped in the corner. So black is winning decisive material. Sorry, white is winning decisive material. Instead of if bishop e4, then the problem is that even though the f7 square is weak because the pawn is on d5, but now the bishop is not helping back to the d7 square, so we just play bishop b5, and even though we are not going to win a full piece, so black is quite lucky actually to have knight c6 in this position. Knight c6, it cannot be taken because bishop c6 picks up the queen, but there is queen b6. So knight a7 check, king b8, And okay, now this knight is also trapped, so we have to be content by playing short castle rook a7 and a4, for example, where the material is even. However, black's position is completely hopeless with such a king in the center, so it's completely losing position. So that's knight takes on e4. Black can also play bishop take on e4, but again we take. d4 is similar to what I already showed, that queen b3 is basically deadly move in those situations. So knight takes e4, bishop b5, and similarly to the position I showed just a few seconds ago, the difference is that black has a knight this time on e4, but it's not changing the evaluation. I mean, black is playing with the king in the center, and position is objectively lost here. I mean, at least the game would have continued, we can say, in this way, because after d takes e4, white played queen b3. So this is always the bigger problem for black when f7 is visible for the queen. So now knight d5 was played, but it loses a lot of material right away. Bishop e6, relatively the best. We take queen b7, knight d7, and again this idea which I already showed, this knight to c6, queen to c8, and bishop a6 is I mean, it is just giving huge advantage for basically winning advantage. There is knight b6, but let's say after b4, I mean, we just want to play some b5, a4, a5, and yeah, thanks to this knight, the unfortunate situation of the black rook, basically there is not much to do here with black, so this is just lost. So knight d5 was played, but after bishop b5, black cannot put a piece on d7 because d5 is falling. So he played knight c6, and knight c6 cannot be taken because bishop c6 is winning pieces. So queen b6 was played, and after knight e5, black already resigned after king d8. There is queen d5 with check, knight f7 with check. We can basically choose how to win more material. So this is one of the basic trick of this variation of the Slav defense. So I would definitely not recommend for black players to play bishop g4 because it can lead to quick disaster.